What's going on, you guys? EP09 back here with another video, and I hope everybody had a happy new year. I've got a couple of updates for you guys today, and let me tell you, one of them is going to blow your mind. I'm going to discuss Jay Cutler and his plans to put on some weight in 2023 and get into his best shape since 2013 as Jay approaches the milestone of 50 years old. I found some crazy video footage of what was apparently recent footage of Ronnie Coleman doing an insane 315 pound seated overhead press at 59 years old. We're going to break it down and discuss if this is the biggest fake weight situation since Brad Castleberry. And I'm also going to discuss a most recent interview that was posted by Generation Iron, which featured Robby Robinson. Robby shared his thoughts on this year's Olympia, and it was abundantly clear within the first 5 minutes or less of the interview that Robby Robinson had no idea what the hell he was talking about. Now, what was the reason for Robby's seemingly absent-minded or oblivious comments regarding the 2022 Olympia and the competitors? Stick around, I've got all the info for you guys right here. Alright, so let's get into it. So Jay put out his last video for 2022 on his personal YouTube channel, Jay Cutler TV. I'll put a link in the description for you guys for the original video. But yeah, in the video, Jay tells us that he's planning on putting on some size and getting fuller in the early months of 2023, but also wants to get a bit leaner toward the second half of the year, so check out the clip.
But fit for 50, so, we roll into the new year, 2023. I mean, everyone has these big plans, and I mean, I've already started the wheels turning for, my transformation, which I mentioned, I was going to start going full tilt in January. Now, I always mentioned 2013 Olympia. I was a little downsized, and that was the ideal physique for me. I'm not going to be that big and round, but that would be an ideal look for me, to be similar to that. Yes, I'm going to get bigger. Yes, I'm going to get leaner. Yes, I'm going to share this information with everyone out there. Hopefully we can document it. That's the main thing is, I'm going to be 50 next year. And so 2023 is a huge year.
So Jay had this in the works for the last couple of months publicly anyway. He made a video back in October about this, but he is following up on it and says that he will plan to start in early January. He mentions his physique in 2013 as a reference point for the look he's trying to obtain, which was the last year he competed in bodybuilding at the 2013 Olympia. Actually, he placed 6th. Jay throws a number out there of about 240 pounds as a potential goal weight, but he certainly looked bigger than 240 in 2013 if you ask me, and you look at some of the pictures and videos. Now, I'm not saying that Jay wants to look like he did in 2013 exactly, but he did mention that kind of fullness and roundness would be nice to get close to. Jay Cutler has maintained a pretty decent physique since his retirement, but I guess as that ominous 50 trips around the sun approaches, Jay may be experiencing a new sensation when it comes to his own mortality and probably just wants to see what his body can do at this point. Now, is this the healthiest thing to do? I think if Jay doesn't push it too hard with the PEDs and keeps the food on the moderate side and steadily progresses in appropriate amounts of time, although being over 240, especially at 50 years old might not be the best thing, I think Jay will feel good about himself, so there's a lot to be said for that too. Plus, it's Jay Cutler, so the guy knows what he's doing. Anyway, it'll be a very interesting transformation, and we'll keep an eye on it. Alright, so this next one I got for you guys, let me tell you, this is just, I don't even know where, okay. I found this one while I was scrolling through Instagram, and I honestly couldn't believe it. I still don't know if I believe it. The video I found was filmed at the Lift Factory in Las Vegas, where you can see a large crowd of fans cheering on Ronnie Coleman through a seated overhead press. But the thing is, Ronnie has 315 pounds on the bar. You guys, this is either extremely impressive and Ronnie Coleman is even more of the king than we all considered, or this is the biggest fake weight story in bodybuilding history. So I tried to look into this a bit more and confirm it's actually real. I tried to find another video out there with another angle or something, and I did find another clip of this posted by Jesse James West, who I've heard of but I don't follow, so I know zero about him. But yeah, in Jesse's clip, Ronnie presses the weight not once, and this is what got me. In Jesse's clip, he pressed it not once, but twice. They asked him to do it one more time, apparently for the cameras. Look, I'll run Jesse's clip here too. Check it out.
Let's go! One more for photos. Damn, let's get it, man. One more, Ron. You got one more? There you go. Let's go. Pictures. Get real.
Okay, so the big question, of course, is this real? Ronnie Coleman is 59 years old. Nobody has accomplished what Ronnie Coleman has on that bodybuilding stage, but nobody has had more injuries and surgeries to go along with those victories. Ronnie Coleman is still on crutches. How could you possibly even steady yourself enough to press up 315, especially from a seated position? I mean, if you look at the clip, Ronnie had the bar come down, and if it doesn't actually touch his chest, it definitely comes within like an inch or so anyway. He then explodes up to about 65 to 75% of the range of motion remaining, and then he struggles to get that last little bit, but even still, he does not use a spotter, and he racks the weight. So Ronnie buries the weight down to his chest and still has that much explosive power? By all accounts, this weight should crush him, you guys. Now, do I think this is real or fake? Do I think these are fake weights? Oh man, this is a tough one to answer. All the respect in the world to the king of bodybuilding, but you guys, this has to be fake. Logic dictates that this cannot be real. He doesn't look like he's bracing himself all that hard. He explodes up quite far after burying the weight to his chest. And he does this not once, but twice. Maybe all these guys around him were in on this, and maybe it was all just a big joke or something. I have no idea, you guys. But it was posted by both Jesse James West and the Lift Factory's Instagram. So the Lift Factory actually put it on their Instagram as if this is real. So look, if Ronnie is this strong, I will bow to the king. 100%. I will bow down and profusely apologize. But if this is fake, why? Why even bother? Like, the guy's known to be like one of the strongest guys to ever lift weights when it comes to bodybuilding. I mean, he did 800-pound squats for 2, and he says that the only regret that he ever had in his career is when he was doing those 2 reps, he knew he had more in him. Ronnie Coleman's one regret is that he didn't go for 5. You guys can look that up. It's well documented. But look, I'm trying to be as respectful to the king as possible here. You guys let me know down below on what you guys think.
Woo! Time to bleed.
Now, one guy that I'm not going to have as kind of comments toward in the next update for you guys, Robby Robinson recently appeared on the Generation Iron podcast where he gave his thoughts on the 2022 Olympia and the competitors. Honestly, his comments speak for themselves, so I'm going to play you guys some of the ridiculous highlights or whatever from this interview. So look, let me run a few clips. You guys check it out.
We want to talk to you today, right? Specifically about the Olympia. Have you watched it?
Of course I was. I mean, I'm a bodybuilder.
So tell me your initial reaction when you saw the Mr. Olympia 2022.
Disappointed.
Disappointed?
Yeah, of course. The worst Olympia.
The worst Olympia?
Yeah.
Wow,
Bad.
that's
Bad.
harsh, Robbie.
That's a pretty
Robbie,
harsh
that's
opinion.
harsh.
Sorry.
So, Robbie, if you were to compare yourself to somebody today in bodybuilding, who would it be?
Brandon.
Brandon Curry.
Too many machines.
Brandon Curry?
Brandon
Hendrickson.
Brandon, the black kid.
Yeah, the Hendrickson.
That's what his name?
Yeah,
Brandon?
you talking about the physique guy or the?
I'm talking about the Mr. Olympia guy.
Oh, the
Brandon Curry.
Brandon Curry.
Curry.
Brandon Curry.
What did you think about Derek Lunsford getting second place?
Who?
Derek Lunsford, second place.
I'm not familiar with him. Again, not familiar with it. The guy that came in third was flat. Before the show, he looked phenomenal. Showtime, flat as a board. Come on.
Talking about
From
Nick
here
Walker?
down.
Are you talking about Nick Walker?
Yeah.
Are you talking about Nick Walker?
He's that potential is there. He got to put on some muscle. He got to work.
So what did you think about the classic physique, Chris Bumstead? What did you think about his physique?
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. He come back with the same physique. I don't see, he didn't improve to me. He looked great at the Arnold Classic. At the Olympia, he was flat. Sorry. It's like something wasn't there, and I think it's nutrients. You know, he doesn't like to take supplements, see. That in itself tells me, you know, something is missing in it. He's good shape. He definitely comes up there and he dominates.
Okay, so let's break some of this down. Robbie thought this was the worst Olympia ever, which it most definitely was not. He said Nick Walker was flat, which he wasn't. He also said Nick Walker needs to put on some more size, which in the outer quad sweep, yeah, sure he does. But nobody would say Nick Walker needs to put on more overall size. I think he barely knows who Brandon Curry is. He didn't even know who Derek Lunsford was at all, not familiar with him. And he not only thought that Chris Bumstead was better looking at the Arnold Classic, a show in which Chris has never competed in, but the best part of all, or worst I guess, yeah, look, let me show you. Look at this, you guys. Did you guys catch that? Robby Robinson had to be shown a picture of who Chris Bumstead is. Like, what is happening here? Here's Robbie's final thoughts.
I say Joe Wheeler must be pretty upset watching all of this. Seriously. He wanted to have the best, the physiques to be beautiful. And I just think we've lost that. Everybody looked the same. If you look at all the guys, they look the same. There's no really outstanding, okay, the Mr. Olympia came in there looking better than everybody else. He deserved it.
Okay, so why do I think Robby Robinson showed up for an interview about the 2022 Olympia totally unprepared and without knowledge of the names of the competitors? I think there's two reasons. First off, Generation Iron obviously assumed that Robby had working knowledge of the biggest event in bodybuilding that took place within the last number of weeks. Given his history in the sport, and he is actually a Masters Olympia past winner, but clearly, Robby did not have that knowledge. He claims he watched the Olympia, but from the sounds of it, Robby watching the Olympia is the equivalent of me spending all of about 10 seconds to choose some background noise for when I'm cooking, cleaning, or busying myself with whatever work I have in front of me. You know, he spoke of the Olympia the same way I would casually comment on some sort of slightly entertaining YouTube video that will ultimately have zero impact on my life if I actually retain the information or not. And in fact, I intend to not retain that information. Oh yes, I'm sure Robby watched the Olympia, as background noise at the very least. Ridiculous, you know, it's absolutely ridiculous. If you guys enjoy being totally frustrated with one of the legends of the sport that cannot grasp modern day bodybuilding to any extent whatsoever, then I encourage you guys to go watch the entire interview with Robby Robinson on Generation Iron's YouTube page. In fact, I'll put a link for it down in the description for you guys. Anyways, that's it for me in this video, you guys. Leave me a comment down below what you guys think about this stuff. Is Jay Cutler making a wise decision by putting on more weight at 50 years old? Did Ronnie Coleman really press 315 pounds, not once, but twice at 59 years old and in his current condition? Should Robby Robinson have been allowed to comment on the 2022 Olympia when it's questionable how much attention he even paid to the show? Leave me a comment down below, you guys. Thanks for tuning in to EP09. Be sure to like and subscribe.